The smarter you are, the harder it becomes to belong. Not because people reject you, but because over time, you start to see through them. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Imagine a child who learns faster than everyone else. They notice patterns. They ask deeper questions. They understand things other kids don't even think about. At first, it feels like a gift. Teachers praise them. Adults call them special. But something subtle begins to happen. While others are learning what to think, they are learning how people think. And that's where the fracture begins. High IQ individuals don't just process information faster. They analyze behavior. Every smile gets dissected. Every compliment gets questioned. Every social interaction becomes data. What most people experience as a moment, they experience as a system. And systems can be predicted, manipulated, broken. Here's the dark truth. Social life isn't built on truth. It's built on illusion. Unspoken rules, tiny lies that keep everything running smoothly. You look great today. I'm happy for you. Everything's fine. These aren't always facts. They're social glue. But for someone with a highly analytical mind, this glue feels fake, unnecessary, even insulting. So they do something most people never dare to do. They reject the script. They stop pretending. They start telling the truth. And at first, it feels powerful, liberating. Finally, no more games, no more fake smiles, no more meaningless conversations, just raw, unfiltered honesty. But then something unexpected happens. People start pulling away. Not aggressively, not dramatically, just subtly. Conversations become shorter. Invitations become rare. The room feels colder when they walk in. And they don't understand why. Because from their perspective, they've done nothing wrong. They've only removed the lies. But here's what they failed to see. Social dynamics are not about correctness. They're about comfort. And truth, especially sharp, analytical truth, makes people uncomfortable. It exposes things people are trying to hide. Insecurities, contradictions, weakness. So, when a high IQ individual speaks with precision, others hear judgment. When they ask deeper questions, others feel interrogated. When they remain silent, others assume arrogance. It's not what they do, it's how they're perceived. And perception is the real currency of social life, not intelligence, not logic, not truth. This is where the isolation begins, not because they are rejected for being too smart, but because they unknowingly violate invisible rules, rules they were never taught, because most people learn them instinctively, through emotion, through imitation, through belonging. But high IQ individuals often grow up outside of that system, observing it, not participating in it, like a scientist watching an experiment, detached, curious, alone. And over time, that detachment hardens. They stop trying to fit in. They convince themselves they don't need to. That's just how people are. Small talk is pointless. Most conversations are shallow. And maybe they're not wrong. But being right doesn't make you connected. Because connection isn't built on being correct. It's built on being understood. And here's the cruel paradox. The more complex your mind becomes, the harder it is for others to understand you. So you simplify, you hold back. Or worse, you isolate, not out of fear, but out of exhaustion. And that's when the real danger begins. Because isolation doesn't just separate you from others, it changes how you see them. People stop feeling like individuals. They start looking like patterns, predictable, replaceable, manageable. And once you reach that point, you're no longer struggling with social dynamics. You're standing outside of them completely, watching, calculating, disconnected. But here's the question most people never ask. What happens when someone who understands people better than anyone else stops caring about them entirely? At first, nothing obvious happens. They still go to work, still have conversations, still play their role when necessary. On the surface, everything looks normal. But internally, something has shifted. They are no longer in the interaction. They are above it, observing tone, body language, micro-expressions, predicting reactions before they happen. It becomes less like a conversation and more like a simulation. This is where high intelligence becomes dangerous, because once you understand the system, you realize you can influence it subtly, efficiently, silently. You learn that confidence can be performed, that silence can create tension, that eye contact can establish dominance. You learn when to speak, and more importantly, when not to. And suddenly, social dynamics stop being confusing. They become controllable. But control comes at a cost, because the moment you start engineering interactions, you stop experiencing them. Genuine laughter becomes calculated timing. Empathy becomes strategic response. Connection becomes leverage. And here's the part no one warns you about. The better you get at this, the harder it becomes to go back. Because real connection requires vulnerability. It requires not knowing exactly how the other person will respond. It requires giving up control. And for a mind that has learned to predict everything, that feels like stepping into chaos. So instead, they optimize. They become socially effective. Maybe even charismatic. People might start to admire them, respect them, follow them. But admiration is not the same as connection. Respect is not the same as closeness. And influence is not the same as being understood. This creates a second layer of isolation, more dangerous than the first, because now they're no longer alone on the outside. They're alone in the middle of everyone, surrounded but unseen, listened to but not known. And deep down, they are aware of it. They know the version of themselves people interact with is a constructed one, a refined projection, not the raw, complex reality underneath. So they face a silent dilemma. Continue playing the game and remain disconnected, or drop the mask and risk rejection again. Most choose the first, not because they want to, but because it's easier, predictable, safe. But over time, something starts to erode. Not their intelligence, not their ability, but their sense of meaning. Because humans are not wired just to understand the world. They are wired to feel connected to it. And no amount of intellectual superiority can replace that. This is the final truth. High IQ doesn't ruin your social life. It reveals its mechanics. But if you stop there, you become trapped in observation, analysis, control. Real power is not just seeing through people, it's choosing when not to. It's knowing the game and still allowing yourself to play it, imperfectly. Because the strongest individuals are not the ones who stand above the system. They are the ones who can move between both worlds, logic and emotion, truth and illusion, control and surrender. And maybe that's the lesson no one teaches you. Not how to outsmart people, but how to stay human, even when you see everything.